Rising Ground folks. What we have here is another video. This is a RHEEM 200-gallon natural gas water heater. I want to show you guys something here. This customer said, and by the way, this is a medical facility. This customer said that they lost hot water, I believe, yesterday. And when she got here, all three of these buttons were lit, but there was nothing from pilot valve down. So when I got here, I heard the spark. I couldn't see it because I didn't pull the burner tray out, but I heard the spark, but I didn't get any ignition. First things first, I make sure I had gas at my gas valve. In this case, I do. This is natural gas. Guys, there's a rule of thumb. Your incoming gas line, meaning the side before the system, it should be at least 1 inch of water column higher than your actual burner pressure. So in a nutshell, natural gas is around 3.5 inches of water column. Propane is like 10.5 to 11. What that means is your input side, meaning this is what's coming from your meter, should be at least 4.5 if you're dealing with natural gas, or you want about 11 and a half for propane. And guys, if it's less than that, then chances are some work could be getting done, or maybe something got adjusted on the gas line, and that would be up to the utility company or the gas company to figure out what's going on. But this isn't a scenario, but I have gas at my gas valve. Also, I have bolts at my gas valve. But my thing is this, guys, this gas valve wasn't opening up. But I want to show you something. What a lot of guys do, and this can lead to a misdiagnosis. Just because you hear the spark, that doesn't mean that you have a bad gas valve. Just because you hear a spark, you can't always assume that you actually have a decent spark. Okay, so what that means here with this particular one, as you can see, this is my spark assembly, my spark rod here. This is my pilot tube. Now guys, I'm trying to position it so you can see how this is supposed to work. You see my spark rod? My spark rod is supposed to be, and once again guys, this is only for RHEEM commercial water heaters. Your spark rod is supposed to be at least 1/8 of an inch from your ground hood here. If this is too close, guys, that will cause your spark to be either weak or non-existent, and as a result, this thing is going to kick off after your ignition. Your pilot valve won't light. So guys, our issue wasn't the spacing, the gap, but this pilot, let me show you, this spark igniter here does have some oxidation on it. Now guys, this is normal after a while, and also remember guys, any natural gas burning appliance will accumulate dust. That's just totally normal because air is a part of combustion. So after a while, you will have dust or dirt near your burner. So it's very important that you make sure your burners are clean. But what can cause oxidation like this is just normal wear and tear. So you want to make sure that at least once a year, if you're not already doing this, you make sure the rod is clean. All right, guys. What we just did was we got our sandpaper and cleaned the hood. Well, cleaned the spark igniter. And guys, be very, very careful. Like I said, this ground hood here, you don't want to accidentally push these too close or too far apart. This has to be specifically 1/8 of an inch apart. I'm trying my best not to touch the rod here. But yeah, this was too high up or too high down, you're not gonna have a spark. But we just cleaned it, and while I had this open, once again, just make sure everything's clean. We're gonna hook this back up and test it. Worst case, if this doesn't work, I will always start first with a new spark igniter or a new spark ignition assembly before touching that gas valve, because guys, this gas valve has to sense a spark before it opens up. So this is your pilot proven system. Pilot proven means that before this gas valve opens up, it has to acknowledge that you have light at your pilot. Okay, if this is standing pilot, this can be accomplished with the thermocouple, but This is a spark rod, so not only does this spark, this also doubles as a flame proofing system. So this, in a nutshell, this spark igniter is going to say, hey, gas valve, I got my spark, you can open up and stay on. But if something happens to this, meaning the spark, if you hear the spark but it's not strong enough, or if you don't hear the spark at all, you know, we'll have gas. I'll put this together, see you guys in a little bit. All right guys, this is part 3. Also, if I didn't mention it, anytime you do any gas related work, whether it be a gas valve or anything attached with a pilot tube, make sure you leak check. But I just sprayed both ends of my pilot tube, and we're going to start this bad boy up and see what it does. As you can see, we're lit up there. And now we want to leak test our pilot tube. Make sure we don't have any movement. So what I want to do is I want to restart this at least, I want to say another 4 or 5 times. And as you can see the difference, this pretty much is like a self-diagnosing module. It doesn't tell you what's wrong, it just tells you what's on. So you can pretty much make the assumption of what's running and what's not. So when we got here, ignition was on, all this was off. We removed the burner assembly, cleaned the dust that was underneath the burners. We disconnected the spark assembly, and our spark rod was oxidized. It wasn't bad, but I believe it was oxidized enough for this to be an intermittent problem. But guys, once we cleaned the igniter, popped it back in, it fired up instantly. So yeah, this is definitely a normal occurrence. Now guys, if this was standing pilot, just to give you some food for thought here, if this is standing pilot, something I've seen, and this is why they stopped making standard pilot water heaters on a drafty day, like this is my vent pipe. On a drafty day, you could have a backdraft, meaning air can come through the chimney down back inside your water heater. If you had a standing pilot unit, that could intermittently turn off your pilot. If you had a standing pilot, guys, means that regardless of if this water heater is off or on, you always will have a small pilot light on at the water heater. Now, the reason I said that, if that backdraft happens, someone will have to come back to manually relight the pilot every single time that happens. It sounds pretty nuisance, and guys, it is. It becomes a pain in the tail. But luckily, our spark igniter only lights on a call for heat, and if on a call for hot water, once it ends and the water heater heats up, at that point, the spark igniter will go away. You're not going to have any flame at your pilot. And guys, so same scenario. If that happens, as far as the backdraft, you'll have nothing for that draft to knock out. You're not going to have a pilot. So guys, always remember, spark ignition is called intermittent pilot. Intermittent means it only lights on a call for hot water. So that's very, very important to know. So standing pilot means it'll be constant. Intermittent ignition or spark ignition only means that spark will only occur on a call for hot water, and it will go away after the call for hot water ends. The call for hot water ends once this tank prematurely heats up to whatever temperature my limit switch is at. In this case, is 140. So now, while we clean up, we just wait for the pipes to get hot. And guys, another thing here with this draft hood, this is just another caveat here, just another example. If you had a bad damper, in this case, if that damper didn't stay open, or if it was stuck closed, then I wouldn't have ignition. Because in a nutshell, guys, this thermostat or limit switch here initiates the call for the burners to turn on. That's our thermostat. Well, it starts with power, of course, but this here starts our initial call for hot water. And after that, guys, what you don't see here on top is our damper. Sideways is closed, vertical is open. This has to open up. if this damper was stuck closed, maybe, you know, it could be corrosion or something stuck inside the damper itself. If that happens, I'm not even going to hear a sparking sound. But guys, that wasn't the case. This is already open, and I was hearing sparking, but it wasn't enough to satisfy the gas valve in order for it to turn on. So there you guys have it. I'm going to make sure our pipes heat up, and I'm going to shoot out to the next stop. Peace out. See you guys on the next one.